What's happening? Facebook, family, friends, friends of family, family of friends. Welcome back to another episode of my little cocktail show, Rob the Rich, Free the Poor. So glad to be back in action, celebrating the soon-to-be end of this very tumultuous and very exhausting school year. So let's get into some cocktails. We are, this is part 2 of, it's like all things old and new. We have some vintage spirits and forgotten cocktails from a book called Vintage Spirits and Forgotten Cocktails. And then we've got a few new ones to share with y'all. Got some longtime fans on the channel already. Teresa, Deb, good to see you all. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. So the first cocktail is called the Soother, and this is I'm gonna read from the book because it's a pretty great description. This drink is listed in Albert Crockett's Old Waldorf Bar Days, not in the cocktail section where drinks are spare and simple, but rather in the fancy potations and otherwise department where drinks are just that much more florid. Despite the fruit, the author calls this a cold weather drink, and I made this last weekend when it was cold. And it's great. It's great for cold weather. It's powerful. It's rich. It's aromatic, and actually the author suggests it would work well hot or cold. It really does a good job. It's a real well balanced drink. Let me just turn the overhead lights down just a little bit. You don't need quite that much on my dome. I don't want to blind anyone. All right. So let's start with an ounce of cognac. I just bought this bottle today. A lot of older cocktails, a lot of these vintage cocktails, brandy and whiskey were certainly sort of base spirits for a lot of these cocktails. So this is not a ridiculously expensive. It was like maybe $20, $21 at Total Wine & More. So we've got an ounce of our cognac in there, and then we've got an ounce of rum. I'm using Plantation Barbados aged 5 years rum. Again, another fantastic rum. Golden in color, great flavors. Again, it's like $20 to $21. That's kind of my goal, is to not really splurge on too many spirits. Keep them in that $20 range because then you're getting good quality and good flavors without breaking the bank. Next, we're going to use a half an ounce of orange curacao. This is Pierre Ferrand. This is legit dry curacao, so we're gonna start with a half an ounce, or add that, I should say, not start with. Yeah, maybe I should have. Drop a half an ounce of that orange curacao in there. All right, looks like the rest of our audience for our show has arrived. Very good. We're gonna do half an ounce of fresh lemon juice. Now, I did squeeze this, even though it's coming from a jar, I promise. Welcome. Even though it's in a jar, I promise I freshly squeezed it just about an hour ago. And let's see what's left. 1 teaspoon of apple juice. So I got some Mott's apple juice here, and rather than using a teaspoon, you guys, I'm going to do like a 1/4 of an ounce of fresh apple juice. Well, it's not really fresh, it's Mott's, but it'll do. And then rather than simple syrup, I'm gonna for the sweetener, I'm going to put in agave nectar, agave syrup. It's much lower in sugar, higher in flavor, and it's just wonderful. So use agave syrup whenever you can. And we need, half a teaspoon, so that's about a scant 1/4 of an ounce or so. I'm going to drop that in. All right, let's just see. What else do we need? That's it. So drop in some ice. I've got kind of a nice big fat wedge of ice there. Get my Nick and Nora ready to go. Let's give that a nice high shake. A little bit stuck in there. Nice, good. All right, tuning in from the Airstream on the road. All right, we've got some on the road visitors today, and I got a nice tulip Nick and Nora glass to serve this bad boy in. It's got a lovely color, and we're gonna finish this with a fancy lemon twist. So let me just rip off a little bit of lemon twist. twist that off. And let's see, let's drop our lemon twist in there. And we've got the Soother. Cheers. Mm. Oh, wow. You know, it's funny. I picked right up off the bat that little teensy-weensy bit of, well, Mott's claims that it's 100% apple juice, but let's see what other garbage is in there. I'm looking. Water, apple juice concentrate, ascorbic acid. Okay, good. All right. Well, I was scared that it was going to have, you know, high fructose corn syrup and other bullshit in there, but that's pretty good. All right. Oh, that's pretty good. Ralph? Vanguard Cadets, Ralph? Holy shit. Good to see you, buddy. All right, so there's the Soother. Handing that off to my lovely taste tester. All right. So that's an old one, you guys. That's from the 20s, 30s, that kind of a thing. Maybe, you know, Prohibition kind of esque. Let me just dump out some of my ice. Be right back. Do that. The sink is still around the corner. It's all right. It's not a full wet bar, but it's pretty damn close.
If you need your bar back, let me know.
Yeah, okay, I will. All right, next one is the 12-mile limit. And I love this cocktail because here's the quick story. So during Prohibition, the United States government, in all their brilliance, yes, that was completely said with sarcasm intended, they said, okay, you can't have any alcohol activities, but we're 3 miles out. So they said, okay, basically sort of a demilitarized zone of 3 miles out. And so, of course, everyone just like got on a steamboat and went out, especially, you know, like think of the Great Lakes or whatever, close to Detroit, whatever. They just went 3 miles out, 3.5 miles out, and then they partied, right? Okay, so eventually they got wise, and a journalist got wind that the government was considering changing it to 12 miles out. And he's like, really? We're just going to party 12 miles out. You know, obviously, you guys know that the Volstead Act was a monumental failure. The government lost money and organized crime went like this. And so, you know, of course, you can't legislate that kind of morality. Americans like to drink. So, but the cocktail endures, and it's quite lovely. And this is a rum-based cocktail. So we're going to start with, this is 1 ounce of white rum. So, and this is actually Admiral Nut. This is actually silver rum. So it's a little bit more premium, so we're gonna drop 1 ounce of rum in there. And then we've got some rye. I'm using some Sazerac rye because it's wonderful and it tastes really good. Let's see, 1/2 ounce of that. So 1/2 ounce of our rye. Drop that in. And then 1/2 ounce of our brandy, or I'm gonna use cognac because cognac, of course, is brandy. All cognacs are brandy, but not all brandies are cognac. It depends on, you know, where the cognac region of France, oui. All right, so we're gonna drop that in. And let's see, what's left? Oh, a little bit of grenadine. So I am gonna use Rose's grenadine. It is made with high fructose corn syrup, which is awful, but I have this bottle and I never really do many drinks. And plus, Rose's was around back then, so unless the bartenders were making their own grenadine syrup, this is pretty standard. So this is pretty close to what was made back then. So, and it's only 1/2 ounce. So, you know, as long as you don't drink the entire thing. And Rose's grenadine does have a fabulous color. It really gives you the color that you like in cocktails. And then grenadine, you guys, is if you want to make your own, it's pomegranate extract. So you basically you kind of do magic with pomegranates, and you know they're kind of a pain, so it's basically, it's kind of like a pomegranate syrup. Why they call it grenadine, I have no idea. I haven't gotten to that yet because I'm not really into that.
What's in the Soother again?
The Soother had, let's see, our tasters are wondering about the ingredients. Cognac, rum, orange curacao.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and a little lemon juice and apple juice. And a little bit of simple. I know, it's great, right? It's really well balanced. It's really, yes, yeah, very whiskey sourest, right? Which is right up your alley, right? That's very good. One of my off the camera taste testers is a whiskey sour aficionado, so that's working really well for him. All right, very good. What's left? Did the rye, did the brandy. Did I put the rye in, you guys? I don't remember.
In ours?
In this one, I'm already on to the second one, so I got like grenadine. Okay, we did the grenadine. What's left? Lemon juice. Lemon juice. Lemon juice. God, I haven't had an audience in a while. It's hard to stay focused. Okay, here we go. Focus, Shetland. Focus. Get your shit together. All right, here we go. That's all of that. And shake it and lemon twist. All right. I love these garnishes. Lemon twist. I can do that. Put some ice. shake it up, and we're gonna let's use a coupe for this. Nice fancy dancy coupe. Nice high shake. About 8 to 10 seconds on your shake. Get this. Whew. I shook it good. I got a nice good seal on that. You get the cold air creates the vacuum. That's why it's kind of so hard to get out. All right, so let's strain this into our coupe, and then we're gonna finish with. Ooh, look at that beautiful color. Holy moly! Almost looks like a Jack Rose. That's gorgeous. All right. And then a lemon twist on this bad boy too. So let's rip off some lemon here. I'm gonna do a little thicker on this. We'll do that. Looks kind of pretty. Express it over the rim. Get those lemon, things working. Ooh, I can smell that fresh lemon. All right, you guys, let's check this one out. This is, I forgot it already, 12-mile limit. Cheers. And the fire department outside the window. All right, here we go. Oh, that's great flavor. That's really light. So it's citrusy, sour, just enough sweetness in that grenadine. It's not over too sweet. Gives you that great color, right? I mean, that is like a 1920s looking cocktail all the way. That's another reason why I put it in the coupe glass. I feel these are kind of harken back to the glory days of the scofflaws cocktails, right? If we lived in the 1920s instead of the 2020s, we would be those scofflaws too that said, I'm not paying attention to Prohibition, have a nice day. You can still drink it, you just couldn't buy it and distribute it, right? So people made their own illegal hooch and all that. That's really good. A little bit of the, you don't really taste the rum. The rye comes through a little bit. I might be tempted to use the plantation rum with a little bit stronger of a rum flavor, just to kind of, yeah, maybe balance it out. Yeah, I don't know. This is very similar to like a Jack Rose. A Jack Rose is basically an apple brandy sour, which is kind of what this is. And instead of simple syrup, you're using the grenadine. As you can tell, it's awful because I keep taking sips. All right. All right, let's set that one aside, and we're gonna do an old standard Manhattan. I love this one. This one surprised me the other day. So this is another book. So you guys know, as you probably looked behind the bar, I've got a few bar books, I got 2 different stacks. And this is a great book if you're interested in some of the history stuff. Imbibe by David Wondrich. David Wondrich is he and Dale DeGroff and well, many others, but he and Dale DeGroff are 2 of the big scholars who write books about historical cocktail books and are documenting the sort of cocktail renaissance that started in the 90s and the early 2000s. And Wondrich basically he took this book by Jerry Thomas, this is How to Mix Drinks or the Bon Vivant's Companion. This was one of the first cocktail books ever written. So a lot of these bartender guys 100 years ago were working in hotels, and they were kind of the secret society of people that knew about the balances of spirits and syrups and citrus, and they were kind of like these magic alchemists. Well, this guy, that is the 12-mile limit. Okay, they're gonna go sample that. So, and this is written in kind of, the measurements are weird because it's like old, history, and it's a great book, but it's like when you read Old English or whatever, it's kind of like, yeah, we don't really use those terms anymore. They say a wine glass and instead of, a jigger of ounces and stuff like that. So it's pretty fun. So this is really killer. So I made this last week, and it's fantastic. So this is one of the oldest Manhattan recipes in history. And these proportions, the same used at the Manhattan Club, were by far the most popular for the first 20 years or so of the drink's existence. They yield what is essentially a whiskey cocktail highlighted with a little bit of vermouth. And I've forgotten my cherry, so 1 second, be right back.
What's the booze in the 12 mile?
That has, I forget, rum and something else.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, it's got rum and Yeah, now I'm curious. Now I'm gonna wonder.
Sorry, we're paying attention, but...
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. That has rum, rye, and brandy. So it's
Rum and rye.
yeah, rum, rye, and cognac. But 1 ounce of white rum, which is this Admiral Nelson's, whatever. Yeah, and that was only my criticism is that you don't really taste the rum and the rye and the others. They kind of get dissolved. All right. So this Manhattan is really the cat's meow. This is really great. So let me just make sure my strainer is rinsed. And if my barback would be so kind to rinse out my tins, if she wouldn't mind doing that, because it kind of makes a mess if I do it over here. If you wouldn't mind rinsing those out, because the next one is, there she is. All right. I have a barback. All right, let's rinse out the jigger. All right, so this Manhattan, the ratios on this are a little different than your standard. A standard Manhattan, the way we make it nowadays, is more like a martini, so 2 to 1. 2 to 1 of your whiskey or rye and 1 ounce of vermouth. This has equal parts, and it has a little bit of either gum syrup or demerara syrup, which we're gonna use, which is really fantastic. So, 2 or 3 dashes of, it calls for Peruvian bitters, which I couldn't get. Even Amazon, they don't have it. So I'm just going to use Angostura. Angostura bitters, these are the standard bitters that we make with Manhattans and Old Fashions, whatever. So we're going to use 1, 2, 3. That's kind of a standard amount of bitters. And then here's the next thing. Instead, gum syrup would have Arabica gum, so it would be really thick and it's shelf stable. But this is a 2 to 1 Demerara syrup that I keep in the fridge. So we're gonna do just it calls for a half a teaspoon, so just like 1/4 ounce. So just a little teeny weeny bit, which I never put a sweetener in my Manhattans. But I'm telling you, with this, you're gonna die. And of course, if you use great vermouth, like I'm using Carpano Antica formula, which is the best in my opinion, and all the bartenders I've ever talked to ever, this is the best sweet vermouth that you could use in anything that is worth your time. So here's what it is, folks. Equal parts of vermouth and your whiskey. So we just put 1.5 ounces of our Carpano Antica in there, and then we're gonna do 1.5 ounces. I'm using Maker's Mark. The last time I made this one, I used Old Forester Bottled and Bond 100 proof, but I drank it all. So we're gonna use Maker's Mark. Maker's Mark is my favorite for Manhattans. This is what we call a wheater. This is a wheat forward. There's 17% wheat in the mash bill, so it's still a bourbon because it has at least 51% corn, but it has 17% wheat, so it's very smooth and it's fantastic for Manhattans. All right, so that's all we need with that. We need to just fill it with ice, and we're gonna give it a stir and serve it on our martini glass with a cherry, and have ourselves a nice Manhattan. So let's give this a stir. And again, this was the formula number 1. This is the old standard. Now this formula with the tiny little bit of sweetener in there and the bitters and equal parts, 1.5 ounces vermouth, sweet vermouth, and 1.5 ounces of your whiskey. Again, I'm using Maker's Mark bourbon, but you could use rye. You can make the same thing with rye. It actually might taste really good with rye because we've got the sweet vermouth is pretty strong. It's got some great chocolate notes in there, and then we put just a little teensy weensy bit of the Demerara syrup. So fine tasting. Oh my God, that's so good. Oh wow. See, it's almost like it's not a reverse Manhattan, like 2 to 1, but the equal parts, I never would have thought of that. It's beautiful. So I'm just gonna let's put a cherry in the bottom. That's how I like to do it. When I make my Manhattans, it's just like that little bit of, that little gift at the end of the drink, you know what I mean? So let's do that. And we'll just pour our Manhattan in there. Got a few ice chips in there. I didn't double strain it because I bought some ice from the Smart & Final, and some of the chips are a little bit large or smaller than they needed to be, but there you go. So this is, look at that beautiful color. Look at that, oh my gosh. So this is great. Old Standard Manhattan, formula number 1. Cheers.
That's a big ass glass.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a double?
Nope. It's equal parts. It's only a 3 ounce. Yeah. It's only, this particular glass is what you call smoke and mirrors, because the entire thing is a 5 ounce. That and that have the same amount of liquid volume. Yeah. So they are the same.
Smoke and mirrors.
They just look awesome.
So dark.
Uh-huh.
It does.
Why is it so dark?
My off-camera crew, you want to try that?
Not really, but sure.
Are you a Manhattan fan, Mike? Okay, so this is why. So the question came up, why does it look so dark? So this is why. This vermouth, Carpano Antica vermouth, the sweet vermouth, this is the richest. Now it's only dark in color, but whatever magic they've been making it since 1786, it is just delightful, and it has these lovely chocolate notes and herbaceousness that pair perfectly with the Maker's Mark. So I think, and they're equal parts. So it's actually a little less of the stronger alcohol, and it brings out the flavor of the vermouth a little bit more.
Oh my God.
So if you're a Manhattan fan, isn't that great? Isn't that great? Now, if you're I'm a Manhattan fan, and I usually make so I have a Manhattan fan on the off camera, and he's enjoying it. Isn't that great? Yeah, it's fantastic. It's really well balanced. So that's pretty easy, you guys. A little bit of bitters, and just like a half teaspoon, like barely a 1/4 ounce. Just that little bit of Demerara syrup, and that's an old. Yeah, you rinsed it. You're good.
All right, rinse it again.
Yeah, and then no. I didn't use it. I need this rinse now. Trade. All right, and so that's it for the old school. So that was the things old, and now we're gonna do the new. Okay, so now I've got a couple of new cocktails, and they are in my book, which I'll let you look at in a bit. This PDF, which is available if you guys want to email me. You can have a PDF of my Rob the Rich cocktail book. Barback. You should be so lucky to have such a cute barback. You should be so lucky. Oh my gosh. So, this whole thing, except when she's in my way. Okay, so, used Google Slides and put together this little book. I have it in PDF form. If you put in the comments, say, hey, I want your book, and give me your email address, or message me. Actually, message me, and I'll get your email address and send you that. And I've got there's 130 cocktails in here, you guys. It's basically all the research from the last year. I'm not adding anything more to it because I'm done. You know, I'm kind of back to being a band director again. That is like a thing again. So this show will still be a thing. I'll probably do it every couple of weeks. It won't be every week. But who knows? But who knows? Yeah, I was just reminded that we're going to be off a week from tomorrow. That's right. So, you know, we may have to ratchet up our hobby. So, at any rate, we're going to make the Jungle Bird. This dates back to the 1970s, and I love reading this story because this is a great. It's a tiki-esque cocktail, but it's not like a Mai Tai, right? Got some like almond pieces. Let me rinse it out. Okay, so this is a great story. So the Jungle Bird cocktail dates back to the 1970s when it was served as a welcome drink to visitors of the former Kuala Lumpur Hilton, which opened in 1973. The cocktail was created from the hotel's aviary bar, and hence the name, because of bird, and it was served in a bird-shaped porcelain vessel. And now it's pretty much a fixture on a lot of tiki bar menus. And what's cool about it is it uses a little bit of Campari, which, you know, lots of folks, you know, Campari is too strong. For a lot of them, it has a really bitter flavor. But if you use just a scant ½ ounce of it in this cocktail, it makes for a really, really balanced experience. So here's the little trick that I do. It calls for 1.5 ounces of dark rum. So I'm gonna cut, because all I have 151, which this is rum that you can light on fire. So we're gonna be really careful with that. So I'm gonna do a little bit over ½ ounce of this Gosling's 151 proof black rum. And then we're gonna do 1 ounce of our plantation rum. We're gonna do that. So I'm basically kind of, you know, just kind of combining forces. So you're getting 1.5 ounces of a really good rum flavor. 3/4 ounce of Campari. Campari is a bitter liqueur used in Negronis. You can make a great Carpani or Campari sort of like a spritz, you know, but it's too strong by itself. But you know, it's really great in other cocktails. I love the bitterness. So if you're a bitters kind of person, now it calls for 3/4 of an ounce, but I made one earlier and it was a little too Campari-esque. So I'm gonna cut it down to basically a 1/2 ounce. We're gonna need lime juice and also pineapple juice, which I left the pineapple juice in the fridge. So let's do our 1/2 ounce of fresh squeezed lime juice. Again, I promise, I squoezed it about an hour ago. Let me get my pineapple from the fridge. Give it a little shake. Store-bought pineapple juice. We're gonna do, let me make sure I've got this right. Okay, so we need a lot. We need 1.5 ounces of pineapple juice. And that's what, again, it's, you know, pineapple juice. That's what gives it the tiki flavor, right? Okay, and then it calls for a little simple syrup, Demerara, so 1/2 ounce of that. There's already, I'm gonna go 1/4 ounce, you guys, because there's already a lot of sugar in the Campari and in the pineapple juice, and I think that's plenty of sugar for us. Okay. All right, so I think okay, lime juice, boom. We're gonna drop in, and I'm not gonna do a lot of ice. I'm gonna do kind of a, what's called a whip shake. So and I do this with a lot of tiki drinks. I'm gonna serve this in this little martini glass here. And then I need, yeah, that's right, I need lime for the garnish. So I went minimum on the ice, and that's common in a lot of tiki cocktails when you're, you could also do this with crushed ice if you want, but box glass over fresh air. Let me, you know what, I'm gonna get a big fat rock. Hold on a second. All right, I don't know if this one will fit, because I harvested some ice recently. Oh, good, that just cracked. So let me see if I can pop that off. Perfect. I'm gonna put it with a big ass rock in there, and this is my self-harvested ice. So I think that'll make it look really good. Let's do about with the whip shake. What we're trying to do is melt the ice. That bad boy apart. Oh, I can smell it. Oh my gosh. It smells like rum and pineapple. Tiki love about to come your way. Here we go. Let's put that bad boy. And with the pineapple juice, you get that delicious froth on the top. Oh my gosh. And then I am going to just garnish this with a little bit of a lime garnish off to the side. And there we have the Jungle Bird. Cheers. Mm. Mm. Definitely tiki. Oh, get the pineapple juice right on the front. You don't really taste the rum. The bitterness of the Campari is like the poof. It's like a 1-2 punch. You get pineapple, and then there's bitter, and then a little bit later you're like, there's rum in this cocktail, bitches. Yeah, that's great. Mm. I can have 1 or 10 of those. Yeah, that's really good. Oh, All right, I'm gonna have one more sip. That's great.
What's this?
The Jungle Bird. Enjoy. All right, I'm gonna rinse these out. Be right back. Give them your impressions. Give them your tasting notes.
Well, this one, I'm not sure about this one. I think my favorite so far is not this one.
Not that one. Her favorite is not that one. All right. Oh shit, that's funny.
I don't remember the name of the other ones.
Yeah.
But it's not that one.
Oh man.
It's interesting. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what is that? The Jungle Bird?
Yeah, Jungle Bird.
Kind of reminds me of the Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, a little bit.
The ride's over. Get off.
The ride's over. Get out.
It smells really good.
All right. I need hot sauce for the next one, and I totally forgot it.
It
All
kind of
right.
tastes like the bird's ass a little bit.
Oh, jeez. Shit.
I'm gonna give it 2 stars.
All right.
Out of 5.
You're not really a tiki drink person. All right. Moving right along to our final cocktail of our show, and this one's a little bit newer. This is one of the signature cocktails from Milk and Honey. the fabulous New York cocktail bar in the 90s. The great Sasha Petrosky, may he rest in peace, started, along with Dale DeGroff and many others in New York, a sort of renaissance of what's called the craft cocktail movement, getting away from, you know, sugary, just like, you know, pouring booze in a cup and putting some shitty syrup on top and some, you know, that's, I mean, it's fine, that'll get you messed up, but that's not like what cocktails were all about. You know, fine ingredients, good liqueurs, good booze, fresh citrus. You know, it makes a huge difference. Hence, the bar in our house. You know what I mean? It's worth it. It's worth your time. Okay, so, and this is great. This is this could be a brunch cocktail. It could be an afternoon cocktail. It's called Cagney's Breakfast, and it is a sinus opener of epic proportions. All right. One of the guys that has a YouTube channel, his name is Greg. He has a YouTube channel called How to Drink. Very entertaining. Check it out, How to Drink on YouTube. I don't know the guy, but his channel is hilarious. He was kind of like my inspiration for kind of doing this very show. And it's very cool. And we're gonna start with an ounce of grapefruit juice. So let me grab my measuring device, my jigger, and we're gonna put an ounce of grapefruit juice right up to the rim, up to the top, and then we need, no joke, a teaspoon of grated ginger. So all I'm gonna do is grate a whole bunch of ginger, and I grate it right over the cocktail glass. I can smell the fresh ginger. Oh my Lord, it is beautiful. Okay, and then I'll just use my knife to kind of scrape it in there. So yeah, this is like, if you guys have seen Back to the Future Part 3, I'm getting visions of Doc Brown sitting at that bar and, you know, making the go-go juice. And wait for it, here's what's next. A half a teaspoon of hot sauce. It calls for Cholula. I'm using Tapatio because that's what we have. So we're gonna put a bunch of hot sauce in there. Instead of an ounce of simple syrup, I'm going to use agave nectar, which is a little bit lower sugar and higher in flavor. All right, he calls for an ounce of it. Holy shiznit, that's a lot of sweetener. Okay, I'm a little scared, but that's okay. It has a lot of Irish whiskey. And then we're going to put a whole bunch of mint. I have some fresh spearmint from our friends, our friend Lisa and her husband, who live in Torrance up the road. Now I'm just going to put a whole crap ton of mint because I am going to double strain this, so don't be scared. All right. Oh, all right. Yeah, there we go. Good to see you. It's my word. That's my word. I'm using it. I'm using it. S-C-C-R-R-R-D. All right, skirt.
Where's the vowel, babe?
It's like Hunnerd. It's like H-U-N-N-E-R-D. Okay, and then I'm putting the ice in now. And then it calls for like 2 ounces of Irish whiskey. That looks like about 2 ounces. I'm just going to pour the bottle in there. I'm just going to pour the rest of the bottle. So it does have a standard pour. That's probably close to 2 ounces. And if it's not, I really don't care. And then here's the deal. You have to shake the shit out of this because you are also getting the mint to do its thing. What is it? Right, here we go. Box 5 shake coming up. Let's go! All right, when my arms start hurting, and you guys know I'm a conductor, so I have a decent amount of upper body strength. That is like, that's enough. When my arms start burning, it's time to stop shaking. All right, now, when we finish this bad boy, we're just going to pour it over fresh ice, and I am going to double strain it because the mint, etc. How about the third? Yes. Thank you, Rhonda, for enjoying our show today. My amazing color guard coach and friend of many years. I love you so much, and everything you do for our kids. You are amazing. Okay, so we're gonna double strain this bad boy. And I don't even think, okay, and then it's supposed to have a seltzer top. So let's do that. Okay, so we double strain this bad boy. And this is like, you know, it's like, you know, Jamie Cagney, you know, huh, see? That's the picture of the guy, you know, that guy, right? So it's somebody's breakfast, you know. It's, you know, it's got the, it doesn't have egg whites in it or anything, but a little seltzer on the top. And it doesn't call for it, but I'm gonna add a mint garnish on that bad boy, just to, you know, just to have a little bit of a, a little bit of color. And there we go. This is the Cagney's breakfast for dinner. Cheers. Mm.
Have you ever gone to Europe? And then you have all of it. I don't like anything. I remember.
I'm sorry. I love this. I know these kinds of drinks aren't everyone's thing, but I love ginger. I love hot sauce. I love Irish whiskey. Look at me. You know, of course I'm gonna like Irish whiskey. My great-great-great-grandmother, Moon, you know, she was fresh off the boat from Belfast, Ireland, you know, in the 1850s or something, you know. So
watch your language there.
It's my show. All right.
I fucking was.
That's right. That's great.
What's
so
this?
this is great. This is mine, is what it is. This is
great?
mine. This is my cocktail. This is great. Mm.
Oh, breakfast.
Yeah, Cagney's breakfast, but I'm having it for dinner.
That's your last drink?
Yeah, this is the last one. That's why I'm savoring it. And you guys, it's you know, if you like if you've ever had a spicy margarita, holy shit. If you've ever had a spicy, fifth one, if you've ever had a spicy margarita, you might like this. It's got fresh ginger, and the hot sauce comes through, and yeah. I tried to warn you. She did not pay attention. She run away. Mm.
That one is in last place now.
All right, this one's in last place, but it's in first place. Second only to that Manhattan that's over there. So thanks again for joining us this week, you guys. We'll see. Next week, I think I actually have a bartending gig somewhere at one of our staff parties, so I may have to take this thing on the road and actually serve some people live and actually do some real bartending. So hope to be back in a couple of weeks with another show. I have no idea what the heck we're going to do, so if you've got ideas, put it in the comments. Thanks again for your support of the show. Love you all, and see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.